Hey, aloha, and welcome to office hours for July 31st, 2022. And getting things started here. I wanted to start off with a little bit of the Ching and get some higher inspiration for us today. So without further ado, here we go. So today is the marrying maiden. And it says, in relationships, desire leads to misfortune. Behave with discipline and balance. Kui mei is concerned with the guidelines for proper conduct of relationships, whether they be social, romantic, or work-related. The image here is of thunder roiling on the surface of a lake. And it suggests that relationships can be disturbing to our peace of mind unless they're established and governed under proper principles. The nature of relationships is that they lead us into a desire state. We begin to desire another, desire recognition, desire retribution, desire a particular outcome in a given situation. All of these desires lead us away from equanimity that we aim to maintain as students of the I Ching. The hexagram often comes as a sign you are in danger of sacrificing your composure in order to affect a relationship. When someone does not treat you as you would like, you are faced with a choice of what to do. While it may be tempting to abandon the relationship in anger or act aggressively to produce a result, neither of these are consistent with proper principles. You are counseled instead to return to inner independence, acceptance, modesty, and gentleness. The greatest influence is always had through inner discipline and balance. Less subtle measures may produce more immediate results, but they are seldom long-lasting. The I Ching also teaches us that rushing into a relationship, rushing to resolve a relationship, rushing to escape a relationship are all akin to rushing on ice. Each invites a painful fall. Seek to establish relationships slowly and on proper principles to allow them to evolve naturally and to resolve disputes with patience and reserve. If your primary relationship, that with the sage, is open and ongoing and devoted, all other relationships will fall into place. So, yeah. Never demand closure also. Hey, what's up, Post-Up Media, Panama? Yeah, glad. What's up, Julia from Finland? Hey, aloha. Good to see you all here. And good to be with you guys for this Sunday office hours. Just woke up from a dream where I was teaching natural farming. I was teaching about calcium. What's up to Goofman? So it's kind of interesting, like trying to figure out where, I was teaching about 30 folks in like a class, kind of like a retreat center type thing. And then, people were sitting on the floor. It was just like people couldn't hear me. So my good friend Spencer was in the dream and he brought in a microphone to like amplify the voice. And then I was teaching calcium out of the back of a pickup truck at the mall. Weird dream. Kind of gave me this, just of the days of me teaching natural farming where it's like, I remember on the Aloha tour where going out to teach folks and being, my friend Birdman up in Big Sur, he didn't even prepare anything. We just ended up teaching natural farming on the side of a fire road next to a waterfall real scenic, real great. But, people are just sitting on the ground because they don't even have chairs because nobody even prepared that. And ended up later, slaughtering some chickens with him and having a chicken barbecue, and really enjoyed that trip. But it was just wild to have, just make do with what you have, It's kind of the natural farming way. But yeah, it's like, gotta just do what you gotta do, I guess, to make it work. And yeah, also teaching up at Mark Reuter's, where people are just sitting on a wall that he had, just making do with what we have. And thinking about that as, I don't know, I had a weird dream about it. So, yeah, often have dreams about stirring KNF medicines. Yeah, it's a good thing to dream about, though. It's good and peaceful, and stirring it the right way, and just keeping it real, And I enjoy those things. I haven't made that solution for a while. In fact, I need to make more. I have 5-gallon buckets of KNF medicine where I store it, and good airtight lids on them. But just the other day, my friend let my chicken into that area, which it used to be an old chicken pen, but I turned it into a storage pen, or storage, facility. And my friend let a chicken in there because it was injured, and it ended up knocking over my licorice bucket, and about 80% of it leaked out, and there's just a tiny bit of it left in there. So I got tons of the other solutions. I actually have tons of cinnamon for some reason. But I'm almost entirely out of licorice, so gotta go make an order from Mountain Rose Herbs, get more licorice, and to get more of that going. So ferment it first, and then tincture it with the good vodka there, or whatever alcohol you want to use, and make more of that. But it's been interesting on the farm. I haven't been spraying so much of those. I've been more using a lot of IMOs and lactic acid bacteria, and kind of scaled back on my maintenance solution and spraying and all that lately. Just that's how it goes sometimes with the farm, getting those different things up, and working to build my food taco still. I was talking about that last week, but still working on that, of getting my moisture capacitor sensors together. And I was thinking about something just kind of silly too, that doesn't really fit into natural farming or any of the food shortage coming. But I was thinking about building a little robot that slides along the food taco, and then uses a laser to shoot all the weeds. So make like a, where it can move back and forth and across, and put a little vision thing on it and hook it up to like this Google Coral that I have, so it can process, the weeds and those things, and go along and just zap the weeds, and just and make a fully automated thing. I don't know why. And then also take like these little pumps and hook all my 9-core solutions into jars, and have them pump out the correct proportions into the water line, or into a big bucket, and then have that bucket drain into the food taco itself. I don't know. I mean, it's not like I haven't enough things to do on the farm. There's all kinds of things that need mowing and taken care of, and here I am wanting to build like robots versus, to automate the farming, but it's not even practical or meaningful. It's kind of like this fantasy that we're like trying to teach kids to live in, right? Of this fantasy of like, oh, Internet of Things and the next world, and this, plug yourself in digitally and don't think about nature. It's like, I'm like half caught in that world, and half caught in like natural farming, where I actually know about the soil and how important it is, and how, just putting robots on your land to do your farming, you miss the beauty of it, which is like the spiritual blossoming of actually connecting with nature, and getting into God's creations, and getting into this manifestation of our universe. And you instead of just like plugged into this electronic matrix of like networking and like But to me, I also get some, spiritual enlightenment by, building little microcontrollers and hooking them up with wires, and it really makes my heart sing when I do that and build a little robot that actually does things. So it's not to say there's no spiritual enlightenment in that, but they're definitely, but I just think what they're doing with the youth, where they're pushing them further and further away from nature and more. Like some neighbors moved in about a year and a half ago now, and the kids, I never see them in the yard ever. Like they have a huge, like 20-acre piece of land, and I've never seen them like further than 20 feet from their house. They just stay in there and they just tuned into Minecraft, and they're just like dropped in, plugged into the Matrix. And it's like they got chickens and rabbits and all these animals, but they don't even go in there. They're just like, just plugged straight in. So it's kind of an interesting thing here. And so, so anyway, the spiritual aspects of that and getting all these things together. It's cool that Thomas is making some JADAM liquid fertilizer, disgustingly cheap food, as I call it, because it's, that's a good thing to do. Make it quick, easy, dirty, especially in the upcoming food shortage. You got to know that recipe, because, a lot of the natural farming I talk about is like this stuff with sugar, and it's for like first world people that already have functioning systems. If you don't have anything and your whole systems break down, you got to know how to make JLF, which is the disgustingly cheap food, and the JMS, which is the disgustingly cheap microbes. If you don't know those recipes, practice them, try them, use them on your neighbor's yard, use them as you're driving into town, just spray them all over, because it costs you next to nothing, and do those and get proficient in those. And Julia, to answer your question, it's Akua. So if you look up here, I'm going to look up vehe.org and transition my screen over here. Let's see here. I think this one will work. Transition this one over here, and this is vehe.org. And you can type in the search bar here and type up fungi or fungus. Maybe fungus will work. Fungus. And here it shows, Hawaiian fungus, return a result for it. Click on it. And here it is, Akua, or Pepeʻau, which is the ear. It's a mushroom that looks like an ear, because Pepeʻau is an ear. Pepeʻau Akua, kane unahi pohaku on stone. So if you've got like lichen and stuff, it's unahi pohaku. But if you go here and you look up Akua, so fungus, it gave you the meaning Akua here, and then you look up Akua, and it says, here I'm gonna look up Akua here, and it says God, goddess, spirit, ghost, devil, image, idol, corpse, divine, supernatural, godly. And then in capital, it's the Christian God here. The Hawaiians, when they translated across for God, they came up with the Christian God, God, capital there. It in the game of tag or hide and seek, like you're it, is also Akua, and it's the name of the 14th night of the full moon. So all those meanings, Akua is from fungus. So fungus meaning those other things. So if I search in here, the same way to get to that is just search Akua and then click on Akua, and it gives you those same meanings here. And you probably need a bigger text here to see, but let me just put it bigger and look up fungus again. And click on that, and you can see Akua here. So there you go. That's what the Hawaiians thought and translated and got those things there. And the Goofman's been thinking of trying to build. Oh, sweeter than anything, must be into robots too. Been thinking of building an IMO Tumbler. That might be a cool idea. Like Like if you built a so for an IMO tumbler, because you don't want like those plastic compost tumblers because they're plastic and they wouldn't let the air in. But what if you built like you took pallets and built, well, I don't know if pallets are the best wood, but built a square tumbler where instead of a round tumbler, like a round thing, is build a square, pretty big thing on a, like maybe an old car axle or something, run it through, put the axle on either side so you could tumble this thing and then bolt it on and build like a big square tumbler where it's made out of wood. And each side you could just like rotate it and just tumble it and just spin it a few times to spin your IMOs. That might be a really cool idea. In terms of IMO turning in like large scale IMO, the other, besides like a tumbler which you could build, which is kind of like personal size tumbler, the other thing I saw in terms of IMO turners and like big industrial, like I was thinking, okay, like how could you scale this up for a big industrial type of thing, was what I saw was a shipping container where here's your shipping container. Maybe I should draw this out for you guys, but and on the top there was an auger that could move left and right and forward and back, so it could move, through the tank, and it was or through the shipping container, and it was this auger that was pointed down. And so what they do is they had the motor for the auger on the top, and they'd spin this auger, and they could move the auger through the entire material and stuff. And so that way part of turning IMOs is to mix them so that you're taking the outside, mixing it to the inside, and that temperature differential and how they grow actually helps to increase the diversity. And I'm not sure just augering, you're basically lifting the bottom to the top and being able to stir it that way with an auger moving through your IMOs. So it would just move through and do that. It's kind of an interesting idea where, with the auger, you're not really cutting it up and tilling it, but you're more able to lift the bottom to the top and get all those spaces where it might overheat and bring the IMOs up. So if you're thinking of robotics and thinking of ways to scale up IMOs and do these things, that may be a viable solution as well, as opposed to a big tumbler where you got to turn it. It's more complex, and you'd have to be at a larger scale and probably some sort of commercial operation to afford that type of machinery. But it doesn't seem like it's that hard to do. Like a cement mixer, those types of things, just make sure that you're not putting it against plastic and you have the wood to be breathable. And even in that shipping container, maybe make a box out of wood that it would have like a little bit so it can, breathe and things. Yeah, you guys dreaming about KNF. Me too. It's like, what else do you dream about, right? It's like, this is the answer to the world. They need medicinal fungi. Yeah. Like compost tumbler, those things, old barrel or build a box. Yeah. Yeah, Akua. Yeah. And it means microbes too. Yeah, the other Hawaiian word for kind of fungus on a whole is let me see, here's screen share this sucker. Let's see here, this one. Transition this over, and the other thing it's in like the chat is mea meaning thing, person, matter, stuff, object. This is another meaning. Kind of fungus is a little bit of these things. Mea ole, what. Ka mea e loa ana, whatever is forgotten, found. Whatever is gotten, found, anything, possessor or proprietor, thing or person that is. It can also mean many, but But yeah, this mea is another word that sometimes means fungus and those things. So if you're thinking about Hawaiian language, it's a great language to learn and to get into. It's so flowery, so many meanings built into it. So many things coming through. The invisible life. Yeah. So Thomas is asking a question about the JADAM liquid fertilizer. I also call it disgustingly cheap food. And let's pull that up here and see. I'll bring that over and just bring up the recipe for you folks, because it's like, what is it? Here it is. Let's get back to the right view for you guys. Transition this over. And here it is, the disgustingly cheap food. So Thomas is asking, what if you're just making disgustingly cheap food from dried grass? Should it be fresh or dried out, from sitting out for a day? The fresh grass is going to have a little bit more nitrogen. And then as that nitrogen first off gases out, it's going to turn more to carbonaceous material. So if you're wanting more of like a nitrogenous fertilizer, throw the fresh grass in. The longer you let it dry, the more it's going to be carbonaceous, but it still will be broken down in that through that putrefaction process of where you pack a barrel with a wide variety of grasses, weeds, and plants. And the wide variety just helps you to get more of those different types of materials. Then you fill it with water, add a handful of microbial rich soil, let it sit for 2 weeks or longer, and then draw off liquid. And like Thomas said, do not get this on your skin. It stinks. It's really gross. You'll smell like it for a week. It's really a bad thing. So just put it in and draw this water off. So it all depends. Like, what are you going to put in here? You can put meat scraps in here. You could put bones. You can put whatever grossness you want to put in here. The more gross the thing is, the more like different nutrients you'll get in here. It's a really gross way of making microorganisms, but it's effective. Especially in a grid down scenario, you don't have anything, you can make fertilizer this way and to do it. So feel free to add a smorgasbord of grossness into this though. Yeah, but it just depends on when you're adding it. The other thing also is that there's also a thing called a Protozoan infusion. And I'm just gonna DuckDuckGo that. But here, so a Protozoan infusion, and this here, Elaine was talking about this, and it's 1.5 grams of dried lettuce and 1 liter of distilled water. 5 grains of rice for each. This looks like a complex recipe. I'm not sure this is the one I was looking for. But Elaine was talking about protozoan infusions. And basically she just said, if you don't have enough protozoa in your soil and your compost, just take dried grass, put in a bucket of water for 3 to 5 days. And then if you look at that under the microscope, there'll just be tons of protozoan. And so then you just take that and put it out onto your land, and these protozoas will grow a bunch. And that's part of the reason why it's so stinky of the disgustingly cheap microbes is if you look at it under the microscope, you got tons of ciliates moving around, breaking things down, just gross, like snake looking things, all kinds of gross stuff in there. But they're breaking down nutrients, they're putrefying. It's it's working, it's doing its thing. So yeah. So Joe is asking, yesterday I gave my neighbor some homegrown tomatoes and he told me all died from wilt disease. All of his died from wilt disease. I started to tell him about natural farming and he acted like I was talking about voodoo, his loss. Yeah. If you're suffering from wilts, for sure, I mean, maybe you're phrasing it in a weird way that he's unreceptive to it. It can be an art to tell people about natural farming. Sometimes if you phrase it in weird esoteric kind of ways, people are not as receptive to it. But if you just tell them, like one of the best recipes he could do for the wilt is this here, is the protectors. So getting your KNF protectors there, and let's see here if I can just make this a little bit bigger and get rid of some of that background. But the KNF protectors, the lactic acid bacterias, these guys, getting them in there. If you're having wilt or early die off of plants, and maybe don't tell them that it's like, what it is. Just say, here's something that I got from, a friend of mine. It really worked well, and I don't know that much about it, but give it a try. Then people are curious, right? If you tell them like, all about this stuff and how much people they're kind of not as open to it. So it's kind of like a way of like, if you pretend like they know and it's like, hey, can you help me with this and maybe try this and see, a friend of mine gave it to me. Does this work? And I'm not exactly sure what it is, but give him a complete serum of this and see if he can put it onto his tomatoes, and I bet you it'll stop his wilt and his early die off. These guys, as the new shoots are coming out, it protects them. So sometimes if you think too much, people are, they have arrogance, they have whatever, they think you're into some, voodoo stuff, and it's like, hey, this really works. Yeah, and so what's up from Jamaica, Tansley? How's it, man? Yaman. I got some good Jamaican friends here. And they wanted to actually bring this to Jamaica. So Tansley, let me know where you're at in Jamaica, and I'll link up to my friend over here to see, because he has land somewhere in Jamaica. He's been living here. He went to University of Hawaii here, but he's from Jamaica. He wanted to bring me down to Jamaica to go help the folks down there, especially with their chicken farms, because he was telling me all about just their chicken farms are stinky and gross. And really, I mean, what I would do is just teach people again about lactobacillus, put this in, how to build a somewhat of a shallow litter system for the chickens, put the grass clippings in there, but inoculate it with lactobacillus, and then eventually, inoculate it with IMOs here. And just make a pile of IMOs and put that into the chicken pen would solve all the stink problems right away. So if you are in Jamaica, let me know where you're at. I'll let my buddy know, and we can figure that out. I don't really want to travel anymore. I'm more in, like I was saying last week, I'm more in the mode of Noah's Ark. It's not time to go visit folks around. I'm more like, if you don't know already, it's like build your ark, make sure it's ship shape, and get ready for the flood. That's kind of where I'm at right now, just mindset. But happy to teach you through Spanish Town and the parish of St. Catherine. Let me write that down, because I want to relay that to my buddy here. Spanish Town, St. Catherine. Okay, cool. Thank you. And I'll see if that's near where he's at. I'm not sure. I did want to visit Trenchtown just because it's in the Bob Marley's Son's song. Check it out. I hear it's kind of rugged down there. But okay. So Cesare here. Oh wait, we'll get thinking of the power auger for a drill and these things, spinners and these things. I'd be interesting to see what IMO Turner design you come up with, but if you do make it, send some photos. I'd love to see it. So Cesare is asking what amount of bamboo powder I have to add for a pig food of 100 kilograms. I've never made bamboo powder, so I don't know exactly what you're talking about here. But about 1/3 of your pig's food can probably be like bamboo. Like if you're able to powder bamboo, I'm not sure if you're going to over silica. I'd say, maybe between 1/10 and 1/3 of the food could probably be bamboo if you're able to do it. I mean, I was giving away secrets the other day to my friend in the Philippines, and what I was telling him is a really cheap source of food is to ferment cow dung. So you take the cow dung and you ferment it, and there's ways to do that. There's some videos if you search on my channel. It's our series. Let's see, I should actually specifically put that into a video and do that. I haven't uploaded a video for a while, and the last video I did upload was my friend in the Philippines talking about health in Filipino. So very, very low view count. Didn't even monetize it because he shows some gnarly stuff. But he's basically talking about how enemas and fasting will cure almost any cancer. And he's done it where he's healed just people with gross things on their body. And he's healed them that way. So yeah, so yeah. So you guys are talking about that, the disgustingly cheap food, and yeah. Mitchell, I would not put JADAM on your hands and face and don't swallow it. It's nasty. It'll cause problems. It's full of disease-causing organisms. That's why the whole key is to dilute it a lot before you use it. Because you don't want to concentrate those disease-causing organisms. It's gross. And you guys, Drew Dubious did it with mugwort, and it smells like hot pepper brine. Yeah, each plant will smell differently. The mugwort's probably a better one than the grass. The grass tends to smell like a horse's butt. Okay, and then Julia's saying, today I was reading a book called Microbian Metsajat. Oh man, I don't know how to pronounce the Finnish words. You guys got all these umlauts above things, and I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But it stands for Microbe Hunters by Paul de Kroof, and about the discovery and invention of the microscope. I cried a lot. I highly recommend it. I'll check it out. I'll write that down too, because Microbe Hunter by, who's the guy again? It is Paul de Kroof. And interesting, Paul. Maybe Paul is the name of the guys who discover microbes, because we got Paul Stamets here in America, and then we got Paul de Kroof over there. And interesting. Oh my gosh, sweeter than anything is saying, in my experience, the cheap microbes, JMS, only smells like infant vomit, which is not nice, but it can be much worse. It's because it's gross. The vomit smell is one of those no-no smells of, like, you shouldn't be using it. Like, at that point, like, let me just pull up the microbe thing here where you're talking about this, because basically, if you look at this sheet here, hang on one sec, let me transition this over. If you look at this thing here, disgustingly cheap microbes, a terribly low-cost solution. If you look at this and so this is a time graph here from starting 12 hours, 24 hours, 36, 48, 72, and this is based on the tropic timeline. If you're somewhere else, this may be a little bit longer. It may be like 5 days, 6 days, but you can just scale this out. And if you're getting to the part where it's smelling like infant vomit, you are past this phase, and your worker microbes, which is this top graph, is peaked already, and then these fertilizer microbes are starting to eat your worker microbes, and they're coming into prominence and majority here. So if you're smelling infant vomit, you are past the point where you have good worker microbes, and you're into the point where you now have more of fertilizer microbes. So these ones that smell terrible, these guys are out here, and they're more of like, think of it as spreading zombie corpses out there. and there's still nutrition in a zombie corpse, right? But it's stinky, it's gross, it's going to smell bad, it's not that great. If you want good microbes, you got to get them earlier than it's smelling like infant vomit. Because you see these two squares, like you've let it go too long, and now you're into the zombie microbes phase and out of the worker microbe good phase. So as time goes on, your first ones that grow are the good guys, then the zombies take over. Speaking of cell phones, and kids are turned into Minecraft and all this, they don't even go outside anymore. And this is what's happening. So, you know, that's what's happening. So if you're using your microbes late, it's going to smell like vomit, rotten eggs, grossness. If you're using them early, it's going to smell like this. However, this same graph for the disgustingly cheap food, it's always going to be the zombie microbes in this one because you're waiting 2 weeks or longer for it to break down. So, anyway, so in if Eyewitness is saying, whenever I do cheap microbes, it smells sweet, almost like rice wash water before you add it to milk for the protectors. He's probably, Eyewitness, you're probably pouring it off in this stage here versus they're waiting till this stage here. So no, time matters here of how you're doing it. Okay. And so, yeah, that, you know, in different materials will give you different microbes, different nutrients, different things in there. So, okay. So I should say it smells like the room in which the infant has been having trouble, not direct puke. Yeah, but just get it earlier then, sweeter than anything. Get it earlier and you'll have better results. Okay, so Dave Keeler is asking, how do I link up with other people who are utilizing KNF in California? I'm in Stockton. I'm in the Boston area, East Coast. So that's part of what we're working on with the foundation. If you go to pureknf.org, let me see. I don't think it's up yet. But let me just log into this and show you here. Let me get into this thing and log in here. 1 second here. And go to, let's see here, where is it? Is it not on? No, it is on. Okay. So what we're working on here is, let me see. View this. Okay, so here, if I transition this over, is we're working on a thing where basically you'll have a map, and when folks are part of this, like here for instance, this is the Pure KNF Foundation headquarters, where it's on the map here, and you can see that we're working on it so that we'll have a directory here, so that folks that are part of this and want to list themselves and want to share with others and share things they're doing can put flags on the map of where they're at. So this is something we just had a board meeting yesterday, got our committee together to do this, and now we're, you know, this is on our website. It's here. I've done the back end work of it to like install it, and now it's just we're deciding, like, we got to get our privacy policy and terms of service together to make it so that other folks can add themselves. But how cool would it be that if you zoom in on California and you just see all the folks down in Stockton that are into this, and in that way then also I believe you can click on the listing here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it, but I think in your listing you'll also be able to put, anything you're offering and other things. So I just kind of put this up as a prototype to get it going. But this way, something we can offer to the world here is a, worldwide directory where you're able to list yourself and put your things out there and to have it. So if you guys are interested, I'll get that up here. I don't know. I think we're going to have a committee meeting shortly here, And but that's something that I thought that the foundation could offer to everybody as kind of a service to just, our mission. If you go to the Pure KNF Foundation and go check out our website, our mission is to balance life through microbial awareness, education, and action. And furthering our purpose is to further the vision of Master Cho to spread Korean natural farming around the world. So these two things are, let me make that a bit bigger for you guys, are exactly in the wheelhouse of what we're doing. And so I thought it'd be super cool if right here, you come to the foundation and it has a map, besides just my office hours and our newsletter and the other things we're doing. How cool it would be if we also had practitioners listed and all that. So going to integrate that in, get that together. It's on board. So anyway, to answer your question, here, because so many folks are talking, and wanting to link up with each other and wanting to do this. So if you're in Stockton and you want to find people around, it would be helpful. I just want to make sure that our privacy policies are correct and our terms of use are good, so that we're not getting like creeps and having people, like the internet's a wild place, right? You got to be careful of what information you release there. So I just want to be, careful about that. And, but it would be nice to link people together that are nearby, in a way where it's not like, I just want to keep it like good. So we're working on that. And how do I charge biochar, and how long should I keep the charcoal soaking in the solution? If you are interested in biochar, click on the channel below, which is, subscribe to my channel, whatever, do it. But you can go to, let's see, my channel here and pull it up here and search right here and search for biochar. And you will get all these videos on biochar. And the one I would look for, there's even a playlist here. Ooh, look at that. But I would check out this Biocharged by Josiah Hunt here. This video, he'll talk about how to do it. Also this other video, Soil Amendments in Hawaii. And spend a bit of time diving deep into biochar with Josiah. Let's see. But yeah, I think the easiest way to find all those things, on local natural inputs, he talks about how he's charged it up here. So any of these three, let's see what's in the playlist itself. It's looking at it under here, but all this playlist. So I'll just take this playlist right here and drop it in our chat right here and give it to you guys so you can check it out. But yeah, I would check out Josiah there and get into his biochar, because he's the expert. He's the beyond expert of, like, if I was gonna, I can talk about biochar, but Josiah's the man. He knows what's up. So everyone asking, where are you located? I think that directory would really be of service to us and to help us out. Yeah, and so Tansley said he's seen the cow dung fermentation in one of the basic poultry videos. That's absolutely correct. That's where it is. Is Master Lee at his farm, who's doing that a bunch. And it's worth it. So let's see. Yeah, you guys talking about the smell of this stuff. In Panama. What's up, Panama? How's your canal? No, that was such a wild project that the military took over. Anyway, the more I learn about the United States history, the more I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder we are in such trouble today. Julia says she was gifted the Microbe Hunter book by this old microbiologist who came to visit and talk about KNF last autumn. We talked for 13 hours nonstop. That's awesome. That's really cool. It's like, oh, wow. Anyway, I go deep on this stuff. Hola, how's it? Did some microbes last night, still working up to IMO. Yep, start there. North Florida, you guys are out there. Yeah. So Tanzania. Okay. Um, right. Okay. So the microbe hunter guy, or the microbiologist, is retired now. He's probably the most famous and knowledgeable fungi expert in Finland, and he was very into this and will help me with experiments and getting the word out in Finland and grant money. Lol. That's awesome. That's really cool. What a score, Julia. That's cool. It'd be cool. I don't know if you could do an interview with him in English and like post it for all of us to see. That would be cool. And by the way, I've really been enjoying your channel and all the videos you've been putting up. I know you've been on it to put those things up. Um, so okay, let's get through this. Hey, what's up, Fear Nuke? Yeah, like glad you made it in. And when is my book available for order outside the U.S.? It's once I get it to other people who want to be distributors. It's hard for me to keep up with everything I do. Working with some folks to distribute it, and we just got the Spanish edition, so gonna be working with Mao to get that translation in and then get it out to folks. It's been a lot. So hey, you guys, what's up? On what you Microbes are kind of a cool word too. Okay, let's see. Almost caught up on the chat here. Cool. Yeah, the biochar, man. Getting the innocuous tea, or getting the tea up and getting that in. Let's see here. What else did I want to get into here today? Subbed. Yeah. I don't know why more people don't like and subscribe to the channel. It's kind of funny. It's like, maybe it's because I don't ask them to. And then that's like a classic YouTube, like and subscribe. I mean, I don't know if you guys are sick of it, but I am. Every time I watch a YouTube, everyone's like and subscribe. And it's like, oh man, like, what am I, brand new to YouTube? Like, I know you get 20% more subscriptions if you ask people, but personally, I'm over it. I wish there was an AI that banned your video if you ask people to like and subscribe. They go through and they take out other things. It's like, why not ban the people that are asking people to like and subscribe, and you got to understand how to use YouTube and like and subscribe. If you like it and you want to subscribe, you want to see more content, of course subscribe, but stop asking it and stop asking me to hit the notification bell. Like, I don't want to have that thing pop up on my phone each time you post something. Like, I don't care. If I want to find it, how I use YouTube is I'll go to my YouTube, and if it's something I like, I'll click on them, and then when I use YouTube, like here I was listening to bushwhacking history in Buffalo here, and if I like what you're talking about, I'll hit that subscribe button down there. And then when I go to my YouTube, I don't just click on the homepage. I click on this little subscriptions right here, and I go to this tab, and it just shows all my subscriptions right here of what am I into? Here it is, and these are the videos I'll watch, and I'll just scroll through here, and I'll be like, okay, that looks interesting. That looks, whatever looks interesting. Open in a new tab and watch the thing, and that's how I use YouTube. I don't go to just the YouTube homepage here and let it pitch whatever it wants to me, right? And look at what it pitches to me, all this the world's dying type of stuff and all these things. It's interesting. Each person has a different YouTube home, but that's how I use YouTube. It's crazy that people ask me to like and subscribe. I'm just like, no, stop asking it. It's just I unsubscribe the more you ask me. It's like, oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, let's get back to KNF, and not enough of me ranting about the social media, people wanting me to like and subscribe. It's like, bah. Okay, so you use your IMO and make tea with it. Worm bins after tea. I make IMO tea on occasion. I haven't been doing too much. Most of the time when I'm making liquids, it's JMS, and I've been putting the IMO just down as a solid on top of fish waste and stuff, and just making it happen. Yeah. I know. Fair Nuke. My book is physically unorderable because each time people order, I have to go to the post office and send it, which isn't a huge deal for me, but it's like it's more of a deal than you think. Of just, I do it on occasion when I have extras that I printed here, and then I'm like, okay, I got some to distribute, but I'm not. I mean, maybe I should send more books out and just be, go to the post office with 50 of them each day and drop them off or whatever. I don't know. We'll see how my life goes. Okay, you guys are suggesting good things. Yeah, cool, Julia. It'd be great to interview in the videos on those. Um, oh, cool. Pro filmmaker. That would be cool to see your place done pro level and getting into that. Working on our fourth IMO collection. I think raccoons got into the last one. Good luck with pigs. Yeah. Watch out for the wild animals. If anything, put a little fence around it, and or something to put out there. And George just gave an intro to KNF yesterday in a permaculture festival. People were pretty surprised to hear it. Awesome, man. That's so cool. Like spreading it around Latvia and getting it to folks, man. Cool. And maybe give them some samplers that they can try it and actually taste it. And then it's like, oh, and this stuff you can use on your farm. It's like, how cool is that, right? People are dying from other people spraying things and doing things, and it's like we can actually eat and just have our stuff happen. So um oh, okay, yeah. So Sweeter Than Anything is saying in streams it's easier to forget to like the video even if you normally would. But yeah, and I don't really care about gaming the algorithm and getting huge exposure with the whole YouTube thing. To me, it's about the people that are attracted that want it. Everyone's trying to game the algorithm and make, get the little YouTube plaque and like become some sort of thing. And it's like, I'm not into it for that. I'm really like, sure, it'd be nice to have more subscribers because then I know get out to more people, but if you're getting value from this content and you're doing natural farming and you're putting it into the world, that's what I need. It just today's reading was on, kui mei, the desire leads to misfortune. And I'm not this huge desire for relationships and getting these things out. I just really, you and me being here together, learning natural farming, the fact that you're tuning into this, the fact that you're listening for an hour, the fact that you show up multiple times, a month, like you take your Sundays to tune into this, or if you're watching it later, you're watching it, all the 500 to 1,000 people that are tuning in, it's like, you guys are getting value. You can make a huge difference. The world is changing because of you. And that's what matters to me. It's not about like, oh, gaming the YouTube algorithm and things. It's like, it's, it's like you guys understand how it works. So yeah. Don't sub. People need to learn how to use YouTube, and it's amazing. You got to ask them, like, please buy the book. It's like you got to ask people. It's like if you wanted it, go get it. If you don't, don't. It's fine. One of my favorite guys I watch actually is Otto Walks, and he just walks around and he says, like and subscribe if you want to. It's like it's your choice. Don't if you don't want to. It's like cool. Um. Anyway. Thanks everyone for your advice. I plan on using sugar, but I was impatient and used molasses instead. Next batch will be definitely using sugar. Yep, sugar will preserve it. My molasses will activate it. So if you're wanting to preserve things, you need to use sugar. If you want to activate them, use molasses. Yes. Cool. I'm glad you guys are teaching people permaculture festivals. People are already into this. And what I recommend is if you go teach natural farming is briefly introduce them to the 9 solutions and then focus on one solution they can do and take home. Like teach them how to make a plant juice, like the KNF food. Be like, hey, look, this is how you make a food. This will benefit you. Here's how you do it. Instead of trying to teach them everything at once, it's like sometimes you get drawn into that. like Partita's comment here. Since the dawn of search engine optimization, the internet searches more like politics and celebrity, etc., are about most popular and not most useful. Oh, it's classic. Yeah, the YouTube algorithm, where are they leading us? Yeah, okay, so the goof man puts a cage of 1/4-inch hardware mesh around his IMO box. It's really smart. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so thanks guys. I think you're all on the same page of this and just like what we're doing. And to me, it's like if you go out and you're teaching at permaculture festivals or you're doing this stuff, it's like, man, that's how we're reaching more people. And that enables me to stay in my little arc and build it awesome. And like I said, next coming up in 2 weeks from now, I'll be teaching for 2 weeks in a row at the Thursday class. So I'm still going out and still teaching and still doing these things, but I'm just much more selective about how I'm using my time and energy. And it's really, my mission is to spread natural farming, but I'm doing this every week. So if you're really interested and you want to tune in and you have questions, this is how I'm helping folks, versus going out to people's place and telling them, you really should start with the basics here. Because if you're not doing the basics, what does it matter, right? Like if you're not doing, food, medicine, cleanser, structure, the maintenance solution, and you haven't made those and you're not using them, every other problem you have is probably going to be fixed with that. And then once you get beyond that and you're doing that, then you need more advanced like IMOs, lactobacillus, these other things to get in. Because first off, it's like if you want to heal something, you need to feed it properly. Once it's fed properly and it has the medicine, the structure, the cleanser, the food, all those things, then you can start to get rid of the disease and get those things away. You can bring in these other things. You can bring in fuel. You can bring in reproduction. You can help to tune in your plant better. But really, it's about the basics of feeding your plants and feeding your soil properly. How are you going to expect something that's starving to get better? And how are you expecting more microbes to come into an impoverished and starving place? It's, feed it, then bring in the microbes, then bring in the combination of all these solutions. But there's so much to do it all at once. And so, yeah, to make it all happen, to bring it in, if someone wants me to like check out their place, like I have all these problems, it's like, well, I'm just going to suggest that you use this and that you just put down microbes, because if you're not doing that, what's the point, right? So anyway, okay, yeah, it's great you guys encourage each other, reinforce it, show that it's easy, it's good. Yeah, cement blocks, interesting. Jay from Maine, to cover our mesh this time. Yeah, keep those animals out of there. Man, I know once I make the IMOs, all the animals want to eat it. My cats want to go in there and take poops, and my dog wants to go and eat it. And, the mice want to take a sauna at night. I come in, there's mice just chilling in there, enjoying the warmth and the health benefits, getting rid of their cancers, all these things. So, yeah, and you can make your own brown sugar with white sugar and molasses. It's true. The sugar industry does it, and for less money. It's true. If you're curious about that, again, on my YouTube channel, which again, you can get to it by just clicking below. But here, KNF sugar versus molasses, it talks about the sugar here and how that's done and how those things work. So if you're curious, click on that guy. And if you're just wanting an intro to natural farming, you should definitely check out this video here. Anyway, talking about my channel, there's a bunch of good resources on it. You can spend hours going through there, days. Some folks do, and it's funny to see some people comment on a bunch of videos in a row, and it's like, whoa, they're tuned into the channel and making it happen. And George is saying, Drake, people had a funny giggle when I tasted the sample for my structure solution, and they didn't dare to. I demoed the reproduction solution too, and they can check out how easy it is to make them. Absolutely. It's great. It's great to get people involved that way and get them into it and getting these things. Yeah, so just because LF is saying they didn't know you could search on a specific channel. So if you come to my channel here and you click on it and you see this little search right here, you can click on that and then you can specifically search my channel. So you can be like, okay, what about fuel? Or, is he talking about that? And it's like, here's all your, specific things on like how it's made. Here's the solutions. Here's the part 1 where we talk about it. You can search a specific channel. Here's the office hours where it was talked about, all of these things going through. You can search a specific channel. So if you click on a channel, which is why if I look at my subscriptions over here and I go on the left side and it shows my subscriptions here, which no judgment on who I subscribe to, but I can click on them and say I wanted to search, Allison McDowell. Say you're not subscribed to her and you want to check out, so now I'm on her channel and then I can search for her with Ice Age Farmer, right? And let's see, will it show? What's another way of finding him? I don't know. Maybe that wasn't the best example here, but Christian. And because she interviewed, or maybe it's not on her channel even, maybe it was on Christian's channel. But, you can search for, I don't know, but this search here, I can search, and I'm only searching specifically into her channel here versus searching everybody. And, so anybody I want to search here, you can do it. And it's nice that way to do it. Because then I can, say for instance, here's a better one of somebody here where, let's see here, L, M, N, J, K. So I want to search Julia here and see what she has in her videos here. And, I can see all the videos she has here by clicking on the videos tab, which, yeah, you've been putting up a whole bunch. I didn't even see this one with your cat. Look how nice that cat is. Oh, wow. What a cute cat. But I can search here, and then if I wanted to search for something specific, like goats, search goat, and then boom, all her videos with her goats, which there's 3 of them, are popping up. So anyway, just a little tutorial on how to use YouTube a little bit better. But yeah, you can search things here, and makes it easy. That way I subscribe to people. It gives me this little blue dot next to them. If I haven't watched a video by them, I can click on it. Then I can see their new videos by clicking videos, and I can search them, and I can see any playlists they have. And she has the KNF Basic Nutrient Cycle as one of her playlists. That's pretty cool. I think those are my videos that she's linking there. That's pretty cool though. So that's how to use YouTube, make your channel a little bit better. Thomas is saying he loves the people's reactions of drinking fuel, and it's wild to see people stick their fingers into raw fish and sugar and eat those things. What a wild thing to get people to do, but man, is it going to help them. And so I'll take a couple more questions here, just finish up with you guys past the hour here, 3 minutes overtime. We're headed to the Super Bowl. We're getting everybody in here. So I finished, I hope, my first batch of LAB. Slightly worried I let it go too long after adding the milk. What should it smell like? It should smell like the kind of sour smell that you get above yogurt. So if you ever smell the liquid that's above your yogurt, it should smell like that. Kind of like a sourdough a little bit if it's finished. And so if it smells gross, like if you're saying a little bit too long, it's really your after adding the milk. So after adding the milk, like if you let your LAB sit, like you have that milk curd at the top. Let me pull up the drawing here. Let's see here. Where is it? Lactobacillus. So if you are having this curd above it and you leave it for several days, the liquid below is fine. This curd actually makes a sealant that keeps all this liquid below fine. So if you can leave it actually for several days, several weeks with this on top. Not that I suggest you do that, but you can. The curd above will start to rot and will get gross, will get pink molds, all kinds of gross stuff. But the liquid below should be fine because this formed this like cork above it to keep it safe. So it should be great. And so, you should be fine if you let it go a few extra days. And Kanamadan saying I pre-mixed way too much of the OHN and it has lasted about 2 months. Should I continue using or mix a fresh batch? I would continue using it. OHN is the KNF medicine is pretty expensive to make, so use it all up. If you want to start a fresh batch, go for it, but it's okay. As long as you didn't pre-mix it with water, you should be fine. Okay. You're worried it's too sour? Probably fine, actually. What did I get my PhD in? I got a PhD in the IMOs. My LAB smells like freshly risen sourdough bread. That's what it should smell like. Seem to be really good for the fuel seems to be really good for the well-being. It is. It's absolutely cool. Yes, perfect. Okay, so I don't know what nigari or bitterin is. It is what's left on the sea salt after the chloride has been taken out. I've already had some of it, and it's not my preferred tofu agent. Yeah, I would think you can use that. They make a product called C90. Like if you look it up, and this is like this product here, C90. It's all the salt after the here's Walmart. Walmart sells it even for $29. But it's basically all the minerals and trace elements after the chloride's been taken out, the sodium and the chloride. But 5 pounds for $29 versus, let's see what Walmart sells sea salt for. Sea salt? They only have Morton's. I don't know if it's going to be cheaper to buy your thing there for a couple pounds. I don't know. Anyway, I don't want to do this math right here, but it'd be interesting to see which is cheaper, sea solids or sea salt. So anyway, so okay, cool. Well, so okay, I'm glad Raymond Vaughn doing his first IMO. Awesome, cool. Yeah, no, the plants need to obtain their own nitrogen. Too much fuel is not good either. The plants need to obtain their own nitrogen. It's true to a degree, and they will. The older a plant gets, the more amino acids it'll synthesize. However, it's different than adding like nitrogen fertilizer to the roots, because you got to think of the fuel. It's not just nitrogen. You're adding amino acids, which helps the plant grow. Too much is not good either. It does make it obese and overgrowth. And that can cause problems and all, like bring in pests and all these things. But you guys got good ideas, and so I'm glad. Thanks you guys for tuning in. Yeah, I want to appreciate you guys. Also, again, appreciate Pure KNF Foundation sponsoring this, bringing the good life, helping us build a community of natural farmers. And their support is invaluable. I wouldn't be able to do this without them. And I appreciate you guys. If no super chats this time, that's okay. But you can also hit that thanks if you're watching this later, and help keep me alive and going, all those things. If you like it, thanks. And yeah, always appreciate you guys. Do it for the love, do it for the KNF, doing it for everybody, doing it for this guy right here, Master Cho, and this guy right here, Flat Eric, And so have a great week. I'll see you next week in August, getting through summer and all that. And appreciate you tuning in. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. No, only if you want to. Better yet, share natural farming with somebody and like somebody nearby you. So thank you. Aloha, and see you next week. Long live the natural farmer.